Saygıdeğer konuklar, değerli misafirlerimiz.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our press conference. Please welcome our minister.
Çok teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you very much. Distinguished members of the Parliamentary Committee on Environment, distinguished MPs, distinguished Deputy Chairman of Nationalist Movement Party, distinguished President of Azerbaijan Municipalities Union, dear participants, distinguished members of the press. At the outset, I'd like to salute you all with my best regards. And I also would like to convey our best wishes, our love and respect to the friendly and sisterly people of Azerbaijan. And I wish all the success and all the best to Azerbaijan, where we are two states and one nation, in terms of operation of COP29, and express all our gratitude for their organization and hospitality on behalf of the Republic of Turkey, who is always brothers and sisters of Azerbaijan. We are currently holding one of the COP meetings where the expectation that concrete steps will be taken globally is the highest. And we are having this COP in Azerbaijan. And I also would like to state that as Turkey, we believe that the fact that this year's agenda is directly related to access to financial resources is of critical importance for countries that cannot have access to finance. And together with all our institutions, we have been getting prepared for COP29 very intensively for nearly 1 year, and now we are here with a very large delegation. And by taking this opportunity, I'd like to thank all our line ministries. As you know, under the Action Coordination Council for Climate Change, we are working with different ministries, and I would like to extend our gratitude to ministries, institutions, NGOs, municipalities who have contributed to our country's fight against climate change. Dear friends, actually, at the beginning, we talked about access to finance, and as you all appreciate from decades of experience, climate change, climate finance, when made available on an uninterrupted basis, helps us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to the impacts of climate change. Therefore, facilitating access to climate finance is essential for a more just and fair world. So as Turkey, we express on every platform that we see COP29 as a turning point in climate finance. And for the next 2 weeks, we will do our best to determine the new targets of climate finance here in Baku. And of course, COP29 is also a critically important summit for us to see what countries have done so far regarding the climate crisis, because the transparency reports of the countries which entered a new era with the Paris Agreement is one of the most important topics and issues of this summit. After sharing our thoughts and expectations on these two main issues, I will present you Turkey's long-term roadmap in short headings without going into too much technical details. Dear friends, as Turkey, in the words of our president, we offer humanity a more just and fair world. So, on this path, which we see as a humanitarian and conscientious responsibility, we are voicing global cooperation and solidarity at the loudest, because the world needs this unity and solidarity more than ever. Today, when we look at the data of the World Meteorological Organizations, we see that more than 11,000 disasters related to weather, climate, or water have occurred in the last 5 decades. Over 2 million lives have been lost, and $4.5 trillion worth of economic losses have been incurred. Turkey has never remained silent or taken a passive attitude or kept indifferent towards these realities revealed by these reports, because our country is the center of conscience and goodness of the world in terms of its values and geographical depth, drawing strength from her thousands of years of experience. Together with all her institutions, our country, with all its might for humanity, our country works with all her might for humanity, for our common home, the planet Earth. The 2053 net zero emission target declared by our president to the world is the highest document and manifestation of our determination and will. In line with this determination, we have prepared our long-term strategy, in other words, our roadmap, by operating the most transparent and participatory processes. We carried out the preparation process of our long-term climate strategy for nearly 2 years, with the contribution of public and private sector, as well as civil society representatives. We prepared our strategy with 89 different strategies in a total of 18 sectors and built it on 3 main pillars: mitigation, adaptation, and the common points of the 2 topics we call cross-cutting issues. When we look at our emission numbers and figures this year, we see that 72% of our emission originates from the energy sector, 12.5% from the industry, 13% from agriculture, and the remaining 3% from the waste sector. For this reason, within the scope of our long-term climate strategy mitigation targets, we have set ambitious targets in the energy sector where most of the emission originates. Today, we're a country that has increased the share of renewable energy in total installed capacity to 59%. In this field, we rank the 5th in Europe and 11th in the world. Of course, with our energy ministry, in our fight against climate change, we cooperate a lot and we work to the highest of our power to reduce our emissions. And our target is to increase the renewable energy share in primary energy to 50% and the share of nuclear energy to 30%. Thus, we will make approximately 80% of the energy we will use nationally carbon-free. Another sector where emission is mainly originated is the industry sector, in which by 2053 we expect to achieve 93% emission reduction in cement, 99% in iron and steel, and 75% in aluminum. In the construction sector, we will bring our emissions closer to zero by 2053, and in this area, we will prevent a total of 2 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions. And in the transportation sector, to which we attach great importance, we will increase the share of railways, which are clean transportation, in logistics from 5% to 22% by building 7,000 kilometers of high-speed train and high-speed train lines by 2053. By 2035, we will increase the number of electric vehicles to 4.2 million, thereby raising the localization rate of electric vehicles to 75%. With all these efforts, we will reduce our greenhouse gas emissions from road transportation as much as possible. Another area where we will make a breakthrough will be the waste sector. In the waste sector, as you know, we have the zero waste project we implement under the auspices of Her Excellency First Lady Emine Erdoğan. And here we will act with the zero waste principle, and over the years we will gradually stop sending waste to landfills, and we will increase our recovery rate in waste to 70%. We will install the machinery and infrastructure of our deposit management system, waste management system, by the end of 2025 and implement it across the entire country. We will make a significant contribution to reducing methane emissions, and with our municipalities we are already working together in order to reduce the emissions, and I hope that we will extend the scope of all our cooperation towards this end. As I've already mentioned, we will make a contribution to reducing methane emissions. Again, in agriculture sector, we will carry out organic agriculture in at least 10% of our agricultural lands, and in animal husbandry, we will optimize feed ration and feed variety. We will expand biogas facilities, reduce non-carbon dioxide emissions, and most importantly, protect our food security. Dear participants, finally, in the forestry sector, we will increase our sink capacity by carrying out conservation efforts in forests and increasing the number of national gardens, green areas, and green corridors. And therefore, carrying out conservation efforts is important, and also we will increase this sink capacity by increasing our green areas. Dear participants, following our mitigation targets, now I would like to share with you our long-term climate strategy adaptation targets, which will be extending as long as the year 2100. Thanks to our projection models with a resolution of 3 kilometers, we will conduct risk analysis for 11 different sectors, and we have already identified 37 strategies for these sectors. With these strategies, we will reduce water losses and leakages in our cities. Another goal of ours is to ensure that no one in our country will drink water coming from a pipeline with asbestos. And I think it is only a couple of 100 kilometers, so with our Ilbank management, we will be replacing the asbestos pipelines, and we will do it very shortly. We will increase the efficiency of agriculture irrigation, and we will implement smart water management systems. We will also implement our watershed management plans meticulously, and actually we will protect biological diversity, which is the inheritance of our fathers to us, and we will be protecting this as well. So we will diversify practices such as sustainable forest management, combating desertification, and developing climate-resilient building standards in our urban areas. We will expand practices such as organic agriculture, no-till agriculture and rain harvesting throughout the country. We will decisively take steps towards sustainable tourism programs and protection of cultural heritage sites. We will also establish health monitoring systems and strengthen our early warning and intervention mechanisms. We all observe that the number of the disasters are increasing day by day, and these monitoring systems are sine qua non for the well-being and health of our people. So in cooperation with meteorological Directorate General, we are establishing early warning systems by which we exert our efforts to ensure the life safety and security of our people. And there are many other areas that I cannot list here in which we will develop policies that will increase the resilience of our people and cities with our historical stance, our desire to be an example, and our sense of responsibility. Another topic is the earthquake. As you know, on the 6th of February last year, we just woke up with a devastating earthquake. We have lost around 50,000 people and hundred thousands of buildings collapsed. And now we have started a mobilization as one single heart in unity, and we have immediately started our construction and rehabilitation activities for our 11 provinces. And this year, we expect to deliver 200,000 apartments. We are going to make them turnkey deliveries, and 360,000 additional independent units will also be delivered. And we are conducting all our efforts to provide accommodation for everyone. And here in the beloved Azerbaijan, I would like to send all our best regards to the people of our 11 provinces affected by the earthquake. We also have long-term climate strategy, which has some cross-cutting topics. In this sense, we will be supporting innovative technologies and taking comprehensive steps. So, in this framework, we have reflected our approaches to hydrogen technologies, carbon capture, utilization and storage technologies, smart city and smart agriculture technologies in our strategy document, in our strategy paper, in a very comprehensive way. Again, with just transition policies, new job opportunities and skills development programs are also among our goals. On the other side, in order to ensure achieving all these goals, our climate law is a must for us. Here we have the members of our parliament present here in this hall, and in 2026 we hope that the climate law will be implemented. In 2026, we will rapidly implement carbon pricing and our emission trading system to increase our competitiveness in foreign trade, despite the carbon border adjustment mechanism that will enter into force in European Union. We will develop financing mechanisms for green investments, and we will issue our national green taxonomy regulation by 2025. Dear friends and distinguished members of the press, as recorded in scientific studies, the most vulnerable parts of the world to climate change are the Mediterranean, Asia-Pacific, and African climate regions, which are home to more than 6 billion people. Turkey is located in the Mediterranean climate basin, which has experienced a surface temperature increase of more than 1.5 degrees compared to the pre-industrial revolution, and hosts one of the most dangerous migration routes in the world. While we are negatively affected by climate change, we are also a country that has the ability to turn this crisis into an opportunity. We attach great importance to the presidency of COP31 in order to transfer our experience, to learn directly from the experience of each and every country, and to make the highest contribution to the global fight against climate change. As you know, our president, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, announced our country's candidacy for the presidency of COP31 to the whole world. I'd like to express to you our four main commitments that set out our basic vision for COP31. During its presidency, Turkey will function as a bridge strengthening climate action between developed and developing countries. This will fully support the technology flow and finance sharing in line with climate justice for all countries without any exception. It will take the most decisive steps to develop a climate resilient and compatible city model. It will focus with all its strength on increasing the resilience of fragile regions all over the world, especially in the Mediterranean, Africa, and Pacific. So in this context, we express that Turkey will act with a fair, sustainable, inclusive, and transparent approach in her COP31 presidency, and we expect the support of all our friends. In conclusion, I'd like to remember with deep sorrow those who lost their lives in floods in Spain, which is experiencing the climate crisis most deeply. And I would like to express that Turkey always stands by our friends affected by disasters and the floods. So, with these feelings, I hope that COP29 will contribute to the future of Turkey and all countries. I hope that all the decisions to be taken will bring good results for the humanity and our common home, the planet Earth. Once again, I'd like to express our gratitude to our Azerbaijani brothers and sisters for their success and hospitality during COP29 presidency, and I greet you with my best regards. Thank you. We would like to thank His Excellency Murat Kurum, the Minister of Environment, Urbanization and Climate Change of Republic of Turkey. And now we will have a photo session for a family picture. We kindly invite our guests to the stage.